With LeBron James and Steph Curry coming to the better end of their career, you would expect their dominance in the NBA to slow down, but somehow they are still superstars, and with both being top 10 players, you would expect their teams to get lots of attraction from other players in free agency to contend for championships, especially since they have lots of experience. With each team in the Western Conference continuing to get better, the Lakers and Warriors have found themselves in a rut. But before this, Steph Curry and LeBron have been carrying the NBA for the better last part of the decade by making the finals almost every year. The rivalry between Steph Curry and LeBron James has lessened over time. Their fierce competition, highlighted by 4 straight NBA Finals matchups, is among the most notable in basketball history. It began in 2015 when Curry's Warriors defeated James's Cavaliers, earning Curry his first championship. The following year, James led the Cavaliers to a historic comeback from a 3-1 deficit to win Cleveland's first title. Although the Warriors went on to secure the next 2 championships with relative ease with the arrival of Kevin Durant, the rivalry had already become legendary. They had multiple classic Christmas Day games, and their fans had their rivalry and hatred for each other. There were ongoing debates about who was better, LeBron or Curry. As players compete, respect is earned, and they tend to highlight and compliment each other's game with high praise, especially when we are so removed from their past rivalry. Fans and players tend to appreciate each other more. And that is exactly what happened with Steph Curry and LeBron James.
He's a great dude, great friend, great competitor. It's amazing to go back and look at where it all started.
In 2023, Team USA lost in the FIBA Basketball World Cup, and the 2024 Olympics was on the way. It would be the best chance for Steph Curry and LeBron James alongside Kevin Durant to all team up to assemble the Big Three, even though they weren't at the full peak of their career. The USA Olympics was a success, and when Steph, LeBron and Kevin were needed most, they stepped up, and their relationship had gotten closer and their fans cheered for them together. The fans were all speculating that they weren't ready to give up their favorite players contending for a championship and wanted to see them team up to see them one last time. Now, even LeBron has said this before, believe it or not.
Who else you want to play with?
In today's game, Steph Curry.
We got his wish, so he's the captain. He's picked me the last 2 All-Star games, so I don't know if that suffices, but I'm good right now.
Speculation of the two's future collaborative plans intensified when they dropped a joint post on Wednesday via Instagram, and more speculation came the future. Hall of Famer changed his Instagram bio by replacing the part where he says he is a guard for the Golden State Warriors with the words Olympic gold medalist.
Asking him why he took the Warriors off his Instagram.
Wait, what?
Very mindful, very demure.
Bruh.
Not going
I was just
anywhere, right?
proud to be an Olympian.
Oh.
A couple of months prior, this is what Curry said. "It's challenging, isn't it? I've always said I want to be a Warrior for life," Curry remarked. "At this point in my career, I believe that's achievable. Being a Warrior doesn't guarantee a championship though. Winning is always a priority, but it's important to be realistic. Success isn't assured just by staying the course. You have to innovate and adapt to the evolving landscape of the league and the rising talent of other teams. I'm taking things step by step to safeguard my happiness. It allows me to enjoy the game and stay true to myself on the court. I'll continue making decisions that are best for my career and personal vision. I want to win, and I'll be honest, if staying with the team meant accepting a situation where we're struggling and not competing at a high level, that would be difficult for me. However, I don't think that's the scenario we're facing. NBA fans have hoped for a dream scenario where LeBron James and Steph Curry play on the same team. Some Golden State Warriors supporters have even fantasized about the possibility of these two superstars joining forces in the Bay Area for a final championship run. However, according to Mark Stein, talks between the Warriors and the Los Angeles Lakers about a potential trade never gained momentum, largely due to Rich Paul's intervention. Paul, who represents LeBron, was concerned about the negative reaction James might face from moving to a fourth team. Stein noted, "League sources indicate that discussions between the teams never advanced significantly because James's agent Rich Paul was strongly against the idea of relocating James from Southern California to Northern California. Paul reportedly urged both teams to abandon the notion, despite some communication between Warriors owner Joe Lacob and Lakers owner Jeannie Buss, and Green's efforts to persuade James to consider the move. Paul's primary concern was shielding James from the possible backlash of joining a fourth team. While the idea of LeBron and Curry teaming up would be thrilling for Warriors fans and the broader NBA community, it's understandable that Paul would want to protect his client from potential media criticism. Nonetheless, speculation and fan fantasies about this superstar pairing will likely continue, especially given the impressive chemistry they displayed together during the Paris Olympics. Now, why do people want this to happen, aside from their chemistry from the Olympics? Well, the Lakers and Warriors didn't make it past the second round. They were both in the play-in tournament, and their team could be described as mediocre, and fans aren't willing to let go since they're still elite, and do not want to see the last year of their careers go to waste. The GMs of both teams have failed their superstars and haven't gotten either team any help during the offseason to make them a contender. It got to the point where LeBron felt the need to sacrifice himself. Since his time in Miami, LeBron James has consistently secured the maximum contract, using it as a strategic tool rather than settling for less. This approach has often given him leverage in negotiations. With that in mind, the Lakers were gearing up to target Klay Thompson, Jonas Valanciunas, the veteran center from New Orleans, and other accomplished free agents like James Harden or DeMar DeRozan. James still took a slight discount. The Lakers star signed a 2-year, $101 million contract that was $3 million less than he could have signed for. He made that decision to help Los Angeles stay under the second apron, seemingly allowing them to make other moves in NBA free agency. Now, even that seems unlikely. The Lakers' firing of coach Darvin Ham marks the storied franchise's third coaching change in the last 6 years, as Ham's in-game adjustments helped widen the disconnect caused by some of the lineup decisions that players questioned. You fire a coach when he loses the locker room, the players no longer trust him, and the front office fails to restore their confidence, yet no one was going to defend Ham regardless. The fans weren't of support, and he seemed clueless at times, so it was best to replace him. But why get a coach with no experience? JJ Redick, who retired from the NBA in 2021 after a 15-season career with 6 different teams, has never coached at the professional level. Following his retirement, he transitioned to an NBA analyst role with ESPN, where he was the lead analyst for the network's coverage of the 2024 NBA Finals on ABC. Redick's only coaching experience has been limited to volunteering with his son's youth teams. Despite this, he aims to bridge the gap with his extensive basketball knowledge, personal charisma, a seasoned coaching staff, and a drive to get better. This process has been surreal, to say the least, Redick remarked. I take this responsibility very seriously. The Lakers have some of the most passionate fans around the world, and the expectation is a championship, so it's my job to deliver a championship caliber team. That's what I signed up for. Los Angeles Lakers announced JJ Redick as their new head coach, making him the 29th coach in the franchise's history. During his introductory press conference at the Lakers training complex, Redick humorously acknowledged the unusual nature of his hiring, addressing the assembled team staff, media, and some of his new players. I have never coached in the NBA before, Redick said with a smile. I don't know if you guys have heard that. Now, when it comes to Bronny and LeBron, they become the league's first active father and son duo, which represents a celebratory achievement in several ways. This has happened in other sports, most famously in baseball by Ken Griffey Sr. and Jr., along with Gordie Howe and sons in hockey. I guess you can't be too mad about that since it solidified LeBron to maybe stay, with his aspirations to play with his son. But what else have they done? While they got a solid pickup and selected guard Dalton Knecht with the 17th overall pick in the first round of the 2024 NBA draft. They didn't address D'Angelo Russell's inconsistencies or get better to fit with LeBron. They didn't sign any players that were in trade rumors or off-season potential signings, so ultimately, the Lakers are just expected to play better with core role players in Rui, Austin Reeves, and D'Angelo Russell, and a superstar in Anthony Davis. Entering the offseason, the Golden State Warriors front office identified the need for a more established second scorer next to Stephen Curry as a high priority, team sources said. The Warriors had Paul George and Lauri Markkanen atop a select wish list of realistically available and appealing players and chased both in that order. They were willing to sacrifice a chunk of their first-round draft capital and a slice of their youth movement, but reasons matter a whole lot less than results. In that regard, the Warriors failed to remedy their largest roster weakness. They not only didn't acquire an established veteran scorer, but also indirectly motivated their second leading scorer from last season, Klay Thompson, to leave the franchise, rerouting his departure into the sign and trade and free agent additions of Kyle Anderson, Buddy Hield, and DeAnthony Melton. Clippers instead gave up Paul George for nothing due to them being in the same division, when they could have gotten Jonathan Kuminga and other pieces.
Also a little salty about that because, as you all know, Paul George was going to come to the Warriors, and we wanted Paul George to come to the Warriors.
The Warriors still have a young core group in Trace Jackson, Brandon Podziemski, and Kuminga, but their team overall has gotten worse as they broke up their big three that won them numerous championships. Without any bearing of bad injury luck, I feel fairly confident that the Golden State Warriors will, at the very best, repeat some version of the previous season in the upcoming 2024 to 25 NBA season. Perhaps it won't be a perfect replication, but having Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and some promising veterans and youngsters pretty much guarantees that they'll be above 500 team that should compete for the play-in tournament. As for now, LeBron and Curry signed new contracts, but in the future, this team-up could be a possibility. Or maybe a dream for NBA fans.